Yeah, hello guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today in this video, we are going to learn how to create a simple birthday card using Photoshop 2018 version. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for amazing tutorial. We would also want you to comment below to give us heads up on our video. Now today we are going to create the birthday card you see on the screen, and then we are going to use the Adobe Photoshop application. That's the 2018 version. In case you don't have the application, don't worry. Just go to get into pc.com and then you are going to get the application over there. A tutorial is provided there to help you to install the application. Now, before you start our design, I would want you to download these four images. These are what you are going to use to create a birthday card. Now when you are done downloading, or whether you have it already, just launch your Photoshop application. Now when you launch your Photoshop application, you click on create new. You are creating a new document. Now Photoshop has a default Photoshop site, but we wouldn't be using that one. So you'll be using the one down on your screen, or you can choose to use the normal Photoshop site. Over here you can try to save the work the way you want it. Your design, can try to save the name the way you want it, or you save it after your design. Make sure your orientation is portrait, and then make sure everything you see here is the same on your interface. When you are done, you click on create. Now you click on create. This is what you are supposed to get as your interface. After you clicked on create, you realize that right on your left side here we have the toolbar, the Photoshop toolbar, and they all have their function. And then at your bottom right side here, you realize that you have a white box there with the name background attached to it. Now what this background does is it represents the layer as you see, the white layer as you see over here. For now, it has been locked. And remember, anytime you open your Photoshop application, the first background that you see is always locked. So you should make sure that you unlock it before you start your work. Now when you don't unlock it, doing the design on it wouldn't be a problem, but the thing is you wouldn't be able to edit your work later on. So I recommend that you unlock your background right after you launch your Photoshop, and then you create your dimension. Now to unlock it, you just have to left click, a single left click, and then your background will be unlocked. Now when it's unlocked, you realize that the name changed from background to layer 0. Also, the small eye there is used to indicate the layer visibility. When I left click, a single left click on it, you realize that the layer isn't showing anymore. So when the visibility is shown, you see a layer. When it's off, you do not see your layer. Now all you are going to do today is to create our design. So first we have to insert our first image that we will be using for our design. In order to do that, you can use the shortcut key, that's the Ctrl+O, or you can come to file and then you click on open. Come to file and then you click on open. Also you can use the Ctrl+O and then your folder open. Now this is where you'd have to go to the folder where you downloaded your images to. As you can see, I go to my drive and then I click on my design. That's where I have my images. Whatever folder that I have, make sure you locate it, and then you pick our first image. Now remember, you were asked to choose to download a pink Instagram background. A pink Instagram background. So what happens is I look to my images. And then there is it. So a single left click on it and then you click on open. Now when you click on open, it opens as a different document. And as already said, any new document has the background locked. or that layer is locked. So what you have to do is you have to left click, a single left click on this, and then you unlock the background. Now when you unlock the background, we are going to move this Instagram image to our main work or our main design. So you come to the move to, you left click on it, and then you reduce the size of the image. So you place your cursor at the bottom corner, and then you scroll up with your hands should be on the left click. You should hold, you click and hold, and then you drag, click, hold, and drag. Now you click, hold, and drag to get the small size. You release, and then you come up here, you realize that you have a small zero with a bar inside it, and then a tick. Now that one is used to escape or cancel transform. When I click on that one, you realize that the actual size of my image retains, but when I click on the next time, you realize that it's used to commit transform. When I click on it, a single left click, you realize that my image, the size of the image remains the same. Now to move the image, you place your mouse pointer on the image, you left click and hold, and then you drag to that document. When you drag to that document, you realize that the document appears, and then you place your design on it, and then you release the hold. Now when you release the hold, you realize that the size of the Instagram is too small, the image is too small, so you have to enlarge it again. To enlarge it, you realize that you have some small buttons here. Now when you place your mouse cursor on it, you realize that they change. So when they change, what you have to do is you place your mouse at the bottom corner of it, you left click and hold, and then you drag to the exact size of your document. You move to the topmost left corner, and then you also drag to the exact size of your document. Now when you are done, remember you would have to apply the transformation, commit the transformation. In doing that, you do a single left click on the Nike sign. Now this time around, you don't want the Instagram image to be the full background. You want it to be something like a dim color. What you do is you place your mouse pointer on the layer. You realize that now a new layer has been added to the actual layer that we had at first. So with your mouse pointer on it, you left click and hold, and then you drag it below the actual layer. Now after dragging it below the actual layer, you realize that I'm no longer seeing the Instagram image, but I'm seeing the first background. It's not like your image is deleted, it's still showing. It's just because the first layer is in its actual color, it's no longer dim. So it's like you've combined two layers with one on top of the other. Now to do that, in order to make our Instagram image, so you come to the add layer star, and then you right click, a single right click. Then you move your mouse pointer and click on blending options. Now you click on blending options. What you are going to do is you are going to reduce the opacity of the actual layer so that you can be able to see the Instagram image. So you move your mouse pointer to this side, you see the opacity, you have the blend mode. The opacity represents how you want your image to show. There's a difference between the opacity and then contrast. So you move your mouse pointer to this white small button here, and then left click and hold, and then you drag back. Now you realize that as I'm dragging, there is nothing happening to it. It's because I haven't selected the layer that I want to use, or I want to reduce how to see it. So what you do is you drag it back to 100%, you click on cancel, and then you come and select the layer, the first layer. Now you select the first layer, the actual process, you go to add layer style, blending options, and then you come to opacity. Now this what you are going to do, you are going to reduce it from 100% anyhow you want it, and then you keep reducing, so you realize that you can see your Instagram image soon. So depending on how you want the blending to be, you click on OK. And when you click on OK, this is what you are supposed to have on your screen. You realize that the Instagram image is showing, but it's not in its actual paint color because you blended it with the actual layer. Now after you've done this is just a first step. You would have to bring other images because you are, as you first said, you are trying to create an image to look like this. So to look like this, you have to again select another image. Now we wouldn't be using the Instagram image anymore, so you can choose to close that layer. You just left click on the close button up there, and then you click on no. So we are going to insert our second image. As we said, you can use the Ctrl+O, or you go to file and then you click on open. So Ctrl+O, and then you look for your second image. In case you can't find your image, it means you saved it in a folder. You can also come to downloads, you find your images there. If you didn't save it in an actual folder, you go to download, you see the images that you downloaded over there. You can choose it from there and then use it for your work. So you scroll through and then you look for your second image. So this is our second image. A single left click and then you click on open. So when you click on open, as you said, you first reduce the size. So I reduce the size. I click on commit transform, and then I move. Now to move an image, make sure you've always selected the move tool. If you haven't selected the move tool, you can't be able to move an image. Now this image, you realize that the size is big, so we have to reduce the size. You take it to the bottommost right corner, and then you scroll to the size you want. Now after you've done this, you move the tool right to the uppermost corner of your work, of your design, and then you click on commit transform. Now we realize that our layer 0 is too dim. The blending isn't how we want it, so we have to go back to the add layer style, blending options, and then we increase the opacity of it. So we increase it a little bit, so we are okay with how it looks, and then we click on OK. Now since you are done, you come back to our layer 2. Now we realize that with the design we'll be needing a couple of the layer 2. So to do that, we just reduce the size a little bit, and then make sure you always commit your transform. Now when you reduce the size, you copy that layer. You have something called duplicate layer. You can use the actual shortcut keys for copying any other text or image, or you use the normal process, which you have to select the layer 2, the layer that you want to duplicate. You right click on it, and then you come to duplicate layer. When you duplicate, you left click on duplicate layer. It creates another sample. So you can see you have layer 2 copy. You can choose to either give it another name or you leave it like that. Then you click on OK. So when you click on OK, you realize that you've created a double of the layer. The reason why I'm seeing the other copy is because they are both at the same place. So to do that, you have to place your mouse pointer on the image. You left click and hold, and then you drag. You can see that now if you are having two different images of layer 2. Now this time around, per our design, you realize that they don't look the same. It looks like they are facing each other. So to do that, you place your cursor at the side of the image, and then you left click and hold and drag to your right. So when you drag to your right, you move it in a little bit, and then you drag the actual size that you want. Now when you drag to the actual size you want, to move it to the uppermost corner of your design. If you still want another size, you can drag. Now as you keep dragging, you realize that you have a pink line showing. That shows you that both images are on the same line. It means they are on the same line, and then there is no difference. So that will help you to position your images very well. So we also try and then adjust it a little bit so that we have a very accurate design. You always remember to commit transform. As I'm still saying, you don't forget to like and then subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to drop a comment. Don't forget to drop a comment. So now you've been able to add a second image, and then you've been able to duplicate it and then create a copy of it. Now we are moving on to add our third image. What we do is, since we wouldn't need a layer 2 anymore, we just have to close the document. Then Control plus O, you move on to look for our next document. So this time around, I'm going to use the red label clip art. As I said, make sure you download all these images before you move on. You can also choose to use different images, different designs for it, depending on you. So you click a single left click and then open. Since we already selected the move to, your cursor must be on it, left click and hold, and then you move it directly to your document. Now when you move it to the document, you realize that the size is different, so you just have to resize it again. Resize it, and then you move it a little bit below the line, and then you commit transform. Now you always have to remember to commit transform. Now when you place the image here, we are going to add another layer style. So you move your pointer to the layer style, you left click, you go to blending options, and then this time around you wouldn't be using blending options. In case you find difficulty in it, you go to add layer style, and then you directly click on drop shadow. If you want to see the effect of what you are doing, you move your this one a little bit up, and then you realize that there is a black shadow just below the image you just imported. So you click on black shadow. This is where you show how you want your shadow to be, the distance, how the width, how you want it to look. I can try to increase the spread, or it depends on you. Then the size, you want to increase the size of the shadow or keep it as normal, it's up to you. Then after you've dropped shadow, you move to outer glow. Now with the outer glow, the default might not be white. So if you want to change the outer glow color, you come here, you select the colors here, and then you scroll through the color that you want. Let's say you want to use blue, so you click on blue. You see that the color changes. You click on white, the color changes. You click here, and then you select red, the color changes. So depending on you and then the color that you want to use, you can also be able to edit the outer glow. So you are going to use the red color for it. You select the color, you click on OK. Now we are done with the glow and then the drop shadow. So you click on OK again. Now we are done with our fourth image or our third layer. You try and then you adjust the size to your liking. Anyhow you want to adjust the size, you adjust it and then you commit transform. Now also again you wouldn't need this layer again, since you'll be going on to add another new layer. You close this layer. We move on to insert our fourth image or our fourth layer. Control plus O. And then you scroll through your images and then try to find your fourth layer. Now always remember that your image file format should be PNG. If the file format isn't in PNG, Photoshop wouldn't be able to open that file or that image for you. What you are going to do is you are going to scroll through and then you are going to find our image and then you insert it back into the layer. So you select, you click on open. Then you see that this layer is locked, so you have to unlock it first and then reduce the size. Reduce the size. Remember where you are supposed to place your cursor, bottommost right, and then you reduce the size. You commit transform and then you move it to your document. When you bring to your document, you increase the size. Anyhow you want to increase the size, you just have to increase the size and that. Now you click on OK. You click on the night sign and then you commit your layer. Now this time around, realize that our image has a white background. We want to remove that white background from it. So what you have to do is you come to the eraser tool. You right click. Now the default eraser tool is basically the eraser tool. Yeah. So you just right click on it and then you move to select magic eraser tool. Magic eraser tool. Now I'm going to use this tool to remove the entire background of our layer 4. Remember, you are removing only the background of layer 4. Without that one, we are removing any other. And always make sure that the layer that you want to edit is selected as it has been done here. If you select another layer, you end up removing the background of another layer. So with your layer selected, you a single left click and then you realize that everything is gone. With that done, you go back to select the move tool. Now to select any of the tools here is just a single left click. If you want to select a different one, you have to right click. So when you are done with it, you also this one you want to add a drop shadow and outer glow like we did to our layer 3. So you move down to layer style, drop shadow. You move your dialog box down so you can be able to see the effects of what you are doing, and then you click on outer glow. Click on outer glow. You can either choose to leave it as red, you can either move on. As you said, you click on set color of glow and then you move on to navigate the colors and then you select the one that you want. This one you are going to use the blue. Now anytime you select a color, make sure you move the round cursor here through to select how deep or light you want that color to be. How deep or light you want that color to be, and then you click on OK. The spread and the size is used to determine how the length and the width you want your glow to go. So with all these settings, you click on OK. You click on OK. So now you are basically done with importing our image, and then our birthday card is 80% done. You realize that with our actual image, you are supposed to add text to it. Now, how do we add the text? It's no big deal. You move to the type tool. The type tool. When you right click on the type tool, you realize that you have the horizontal type tool, the vertical type mark tool, horizontal type mark tool. You wouldn't be using any of these, you'll be using only the horizontal type tool. So you left click on the horizontal type tool, you realize that your cursor changes to an I form within a box. So you move that cursor to the top of your image. Now you realize that before you do that, make sure you select the image on which you want your text to be. So we move on to select our third layer, since that's where we want to place our work. So when you move on to the third layer, you select the third layer, and then you move your cursor back to the forefront of the third layer, and then you left click. Now when you left click, you just type in anything you want. You type anything you want. So for my actual design, we are supposed to type wishing you the best of everything on your special day. So you come here and then you type wishing you the best of everything on your special day, with a number of dots. Now, when you are done with this, you would have to, up here we have the font, where you can select the font type, the font size, and then how you want your text to be. All these here are used to edit how you want your text to be. So over here you are using the Arial empty bold. The Arial empty bold. You can move on to select different font type for your work. So we are using a different one, that is you are using the Arial empty bold. That's what you are using for our work. So when you are done selecting the font size, and then you move on to in order to apply the font size, make sure you first select your text. How do you select your text? Place your cursor just at the first end, left click and hold, and then drag over all the text. When you drag over all the text, you can do your editings and then apply them. So when you are done with this, you click on apply transform, then you are done with the work. Then you move on to select the move to drag your text to fit into your image. You drag your text to fit into your image. Anyhow you want your text to fit into your image, the size that you want, you do it yourself. When you are done, you apply the confirm transform. Then you move down here to click on add layer style, and then you move to stroke. Now what the stroke do is it's going to change the outline of your text. But before that, let's come down to outer glow. We want to add a glow to our work. You can add a glow to your work. This time around, we want to at least decrease the spread a little bit. Decrease the spread, and then you move on to stroke. Now go to stroke, you realize that the color of your text changes. Don't worry, you can just change it. When you come to color, fill type, color, and then you left click, you realize that a dialog box of colors appears, and then you move on to edit it. You navigate through the colors, and then you select the color that you want, and then you click on OK. Then you move here to, and then you click. Oh, before that, let's add a drop shadow. You add a drop shadow to your work. A drop shadow, and then when you add a drop shadow, don't touch any editing. Make sure you have your distance at 43, your spread at 5, and then your size at 27. When you are done with that one, you just click on OK. So I present to you your first and simple birthday card design. With the rest, you can move on, and then you do the resize and everything. So thank you for watching our simple design tutorials. I know you guys have enjoyed the video, but don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and also drop a comment. We'll be looking forward to getting a comment from you. It's a thank you, and then it's a bye bye.